Alright, hello ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another video. A little bit different today, as you can probably tell by the title. So, Red vs. Blue, as you may or may not know, has just released its final season once and for all after, God, like, what, 10, 20, like 15, 20 years, something like that? A long time, right? you know, I forget. I actually do forget when the first season did come out. I know it was around the time of like I believe. I mean, obviously it was in Halo One, but I'm pretty sure it was more around the time where Halo Two actually came out. But I can't exactly remember. So it might have been even just a year or two after Halo One came out. Which, if that's the case, it might have been 2002, 2003. I don't exactly remember when it came out. But I do know that it is a very, very old series. I'm pretty sure it probably came out 2002, if I had to guess. Um, and it's just like if you haven't seen the last season, definitely go check it out. As it is, well, it's obviously out, and I'm not gonna be spoiling much. I just want to talk about. I just want to talk about my thoughts on the final, basically the final season of Red vs. Blue. Just kind of want to hear about, and just about other things as well, about the like stories in general. It's like I said, I'm not gonna really do many spoilers. I'm not even gonna showcase any scenes of Red vs. Blue. Um, it definitely was very like it was really good. Like the final season was really good. It really gave a good send off to you know all the characters. It really did. Um, and it's one of those things though where like you've held on to something for so long, and even though you know like it's the final one, actually seeing it, it's just like you always get like I don't know about you, but you always get like that feeling in your stomach. It's like you're just like, man, like you just don't want it to be over, sort of deal. And it's that feeling always is really interesting to me because like you know there's a lot of series out there that overstay its welcome, and there's a lot of series that just you just want it to last for forever, but eventually, for better or worse, the ending always does come around, and it's like you know it's just something you get to kind of accept. You know what I mean? it's it's really funny because you wouldn't want something to last forever, but you also you also get that feeling of like, man, the end is just like it gives you that different mindset, even though like it should be the end, but like you don't want it to be at the same time because of how good it was. It's always such a weird feeling. Like I get that way anytime like a game ends, a a series ends. Like I'm sure a lot of people have that feeling, and I guess it's especially hits pretty hard for Red versus Blue. I mean, but the interesting thing about Red versus Blue is that technically Red versus Blue has multiple endings. Red versus Blue was a mastercraft story. That that could allow multiple endings. I mean, people thought the Blood Gulch Chronicles would have been the last season. You know what I mean? Like that they thought season 5 was going to be the end. That's when we thought like the Red vs. Blue series was going to be endings was season 5. And then after season 5, we thought, like season 9 or 10, like one of those. I think it was season 10. that we thought, okay, well, it has to be over now because the freelancers are all done, but there was still a little bit more to put in. So they had the whole thing with Chiron, like Coron or Charon. I can't remember his name, but they had that whole thing with him, which was like the rivalry of the freelancers. So you know, some people will still say that season 10 could have been the end, which I mean it could have been, but I definitely see that season 13 kind of was like the final nail in the coffin for like that definitely is an ending. Like that could have been an ending for season 13 especially. You know what I mean? Because at that point everything from the original like series is done. Like the freelancers are done, the rivalry of the freelancers are done, Project Freelancer as a whole is just gone. And, if you know Red vs. Blue, Project Freelancer basically had to deal with everything in the show, you know. Like, well, if it wasn't for the freelancers, the Red vs. Blues, like, that whole thing wouldn't even existed. Because they were behind everything, pulling the strings, you know. So, I do think you could say season 10 is the end, but I I think season 13 kind of, for me, I think season 13 is kind of the send off. And from that point on, it's like, season 14, 15, all those, the other ones. There's multiple different endings to Red vs. Blue. And I think, there's no actual canon ending. I think, because here's the thing. Burning Burns, for instance, is a mastercraft storyteller, and he knew no matter how good the ending was, there was never going to be a way for him to actually satisfy everyone. So I feel like the story was told in a way that you can choose your own ending, sort of deal. So there's no actual end, there's no actual end canon like none of the endings that they gave are actual canon. It's just whatever you think is the ending. You know. That's what it is, the ending, whichever one you chose, sort of deal. Whichever one in your mind makes the most sense for it to be the ending. That's what is the ending. Is however you want it to be. And I think that kind of goes along with this season. I think that it's also another different type of ending. Like I'm pretty sure after the whole time travel thing, that was supposed to be another ending. The whole thing with the other Red versus Blues, it was a whole other team of them. After that whole thing, that could have been an ending because it put all the characters together and gave everyone closure about Church's official passing. That could have been the ending there too. So I do think there is multiple different ways you can end that series, which is the most interesting thing about it. Is you can choose whichever ending you want. But like I said, I'm sure some people still think that season they still believe that season 10 was their final season, and it's fine because that's how the show was supposed to be. It's just very interesting though how the show was like that, how it did have multiple endings. And I might do a list, a tier list of all my favorite seasons and whatnot. I might, maybe not though, because I'm sure many other people will probably be doing that. And I feel like I haven't really made that many Red vs. Blue things, so maybe it would be right for me to make one. But I don't know. I'll probably just say this though: season 6 was probably my favorite out of all of them. I'll be honest. Season 6 is probably my favorite. And you might be wondering, well, why is that? And, well, there's many things about that. it was just a very good. I mean, that season just had a very good start to it. The whole introduction to the freelancers, like more than just Tex and Wyoming, they had one of my favorite characters, which was Wash, and then you also had my other favorite character was the Meta. So those were my two favorite characters, and they were both added. They that's when they were both introduced, and it was also the first time we've ever actually had animation in the show. Like it was actually kind of nuts. I think it was it season 6 that first introduced the animation, or was it season 7? Oh god, I had to rewatch it, but I do think it was season 7. Like season 6 or 7 was my favorite, but I think it was season 6 that really did make it all like that. That I think season 6 was my overall favorite. It was in that timeline though, like I guess you could say like the Halo 3 timeline between season 6 and like 10, or sorry, well no, yeah, 10. Um, actually, season 10 was that when the oh no, season 10 was when they officially started the um Halo 4, because I think that's when they transferred over to Halo 4's the story of Chorus. So yeah, I there's a lot of great seasons though, but that I would say that season 6 was definitely my favorite. Just the way how they introduced all these cool characters, and the freelancer program and all this other stuff. Just a lot of there was a lot of tension in the story too, and there's a lot of mystery in it because you still didn't entirely know what the freelancers were. We were still kind of discovering that. Like we knew that the freelancers were badass, but we didn't know like how many there were. We didn't know, like how big of an organization this was. We didn't know much about it at all. So, but I do think that the this final season was definitely I want to say that for me personally, I think that like you could choose your like I said, you could choose your own ending, but for me, I do think this season was what I would consider the final season. Like since it does come after I think like season 13 or 14, pretty sure it's 13. Um, but I think for me personally, I think that this season would have to be what I consider the final season. And the big thing was the fact that Burnie Burns was the writer of it basically. I think Burnie Burns like I think it makes most sense for me to have Burnie Burns' story be like for me personally to be the canon ending because he was the writer of the whole show at least up until season 10. I don't think he worked on the Chorus Chronicles. I think that was a whole other thing. But I know he worked on the whole Blood Gulch Chronicles. He worked on the whole freelancer thing, and I do think season 19 is probably what I consider to be canon, the canon ending. As much as after the time travel stuff would have been a good ending too, that would have been a great ending because all the characters are together and everything. I do think that this this season definitely was probably what I consider the canon ending. But it's always just so interesting with these type of shows and just storytelling. Like, it's a burden in a way if it lasts for too long, but it also hurts when it ends. You know what I mean? It's so funny. Like you do want an ending, but at the same time, it's like it does suck when it ends. Like like there's no way of ending a show or resuming a show without it being like, you know. I do think having a show end is more satisfying than having it go on for, forever. Like, some shows do. Like, they just keep going on forever, and they keep going on and on and on. And it just becomes, like, dreadful sort of deal. Um, but, I don't know. I do think that this ending was probably my favorite, though. It also just kind of It also just really makes you think about the early days of Red versus Blue as well. Just, you know, when the story does end like this, it really does take you back to like season 1 where it all started and everything. And I think the thing that also makes it even worse though about the ending of this season was the fact that Rooster Teeth is also done now. Like that's the difference between like this season and any other season though. Is like you knew that before that there's a possibility that there will be another season, but now it's officially done. Like it's done, So like they confirmed it's done, and I mean, how could it go on when Rooster Teeth is literally dead now? It's sometimes for that type of shit, it is a hard pill to swallow, but you know, I guess you know as the show always said, memory is the key. So, you know, better to remember it than, you know, to just have it go on forever, sort of deal. And it was a great ending. I mean, like I said, it was a great ending. No matter how you anticipate the ending of the show, whether it was season 10 for you, season 13, um, this season, the after the time travel stuff, maybe all that made it different for you. Maybe that was your ending. I mean, however you slice the cake. I mean, we all have the ending in our own head, and you know, but it's just really interesting how it kind of all ended. Um, it is really nice to see and hear from Burnie Burns again, though. Just, I'm sure a lot of people have said that too. But I Bernie Burns was what made the whole show, man. I mean, I know my best friend when I first introduced him to the show, that was his favorite character was Church, and my like Church was pretty close for me too. Like I really liked Church a lot, and it was just so funny how many times he actually died in the story. You actually started to wonder if he'd ever die, but it was all because of the that one memory unit that he was able to come back constantly. So yeah, it was. It's been one hell of a ride though, man. But as every story, every story has to have an end. Otherwise, this becomes a dreadful world where it just goes on for far too long. And I mean, it's gone on for 20 years. I mean, let these people rest. You know what I mean? It's been going on for 20 years. And there's so many different endings already. I mean, like I said, like after season 13, that's when all the other endings did come around. Like there were so many different endings there could have been. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I don't think there is any story that is connected to the other endings. Like at least as far as I'm aware, none of the other endings are connected to one another. So I don't know, but it's what's really interesting about the show, though. It's just You know, the fact that you can choose your own ending. There's so little shows that allow you to interpret your own ending because there is no official ending. There is no like um, official statement like saying yeah that ending's canon. No, there's nothing like that. Because you know, like I said before, Bernie Burns was a mastercraft at storytelling, and he knew that from the start he would never be able to satisfy anyone. You know, he won't be able to satisfy everyone in the end. So instead of trying to satisfy everyone at the end, he allows them to choose their own end, essentially by these other stories. So, you know, that's what's really interesting about the whole thing, really. But I guess I made my point on this video. I just wanted to really put that out there, just because it's been one hell of a ride, ladies and gentlemen, with Red versus Blue. I'm gonna miss it, but it won't stop me from watching it over and over again. Because I've probably watched that show probably, God, I've probably watched it like 5 or 6, maybe like as a whole. I mean, like every season except for 0. I've probably watched every season probably like 5 to 10 times. I mean, I say it like that because there is some seasons I didn't watch as much, being like I didn't watch the chorus seasons that much by comparison to like the Blood Gulch Chronicles. It wasn't because I thought they were bad or nothing. Like I thought every season from 1 to 13 was great. You know, it's just the other season, like the Blood Gulch Chronicles, it's been out for way longer. That's the thing, you know. So, and also that's the other thing. I was also way more into the show at that time period. Like I was, you know, but like a lot of things came along the way, so I didn't watch it near as much, but I still watched it a lot. Um, so yeah, that's kind of my reasons there. But yeah, what a hell of a ride, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys enjoyed Red versus Blue as much as I did. I'm sure maybe even more than I did for some of you out there. But yep, this is the ending, man. Um, so I would have. I mean, I don't have a bottle with me, but cheers. Been one hell of a ride. That's for damn sure. And yeah, I guess I'll just see you guys later. Hope you guys enjoyed season 13. I tried my best to avoid spoilers. Or did I say did I enjoy? Did I say enjoy season 13? I don't know what I said. Enjoy season 19. Go see it. Um, yeah, I don't think I said any spoilers on this season. So, besides the fact that it is a satisfying ending, I'd say. Now, there is a lot of people that are saying that, you know, it isn't that satisfying for one reason or another, but I definitely think it wraps up a lot of things nicely. It definitely does. It's definitely worth the watch. I don't think any of those people would argue that it's not worth the watch. So definitely go check it out, because it's like I said, it's written by Bernie Burns himself. So the creator of the show is the one that ends it all. So I think that's very, very fitting, as he hasn't been a part of you know, Rooster Teeth or even Red vs. Blue for so long, but it's just so satisfying watching him, go down with the ship, you know, basically. Like he came back to, go down with them sort of deal. So putting an end to everything is just kind of really satisfying to see, really. Seeing Bernie Burns back, it's like it's just really exciting, really. But unfortunately, it's over now. I don't know if there is gonna be much else with Bernie Burns. I don't know what's going to happen from here on out. But I guess we'll just have to see what happens next. What's the next chapter? Because I know for one thing for sure, Rivers of Blue is officially done now. So yeah, it's been one hell of a road. But I'll see you guys in the next video. And like I said, I hope you guys all enjoyed. And yeah, that's all I got for you today. This is the Legendary Falcon Titan officially signing off. Peace, everyone.